Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Drawing and Talking with me, Freebie your host. Now, before we begin, I'd like to request that you subscribe and like this video for more just like it. Anyways, on to the actual video and drawing and talking itself. This is the Hanged Man. Ominous, isn't it? Well, I gotta say, I really love this character. Oh my goodness, everything about this character I absolutely am in love with. From a narrative perspective, this character is so versatile, you can fit him anywhere. Let's begin with his name, title, all that stuff. The Hanged Man. He's mysterious. He's described as a wanderer of sorts. He sometimes sticks around in one place every now and then, but he eventually leaves. He kind of reminds me of Mad Max in that sense. He's a wandering, wanderer. I know that's not the best description, but I really still do like him. As I said previously, he's just so convenient. He can either be the main character of any story he's in, with us following him as the protagonist, or he can be a side character who pops in to help as an extra hired hand, essentially. And here's the thing, he's not particularly amazing. He's not described as the best fighter, but he is described as very hard to kill, very tough. And from a narrative point of view, that's so convenient because it means the bad guy, if they're super powerful, can show how dangerous they are by kicking his ass. And because he's so tough, he can survive it and come back for round 2 later on, or be tough enough to get away. It's the classic idea that he's a guy who doesn't give up, right? Even his fighting style reflects this. He's a defensive fighter. He has a sword and shield. Now, in the actual profile of the character itself, it gives him a kite shield, which I am rather fond of, but I ended up giving him a little round shield. Call it artistic license, or call it me forgetting that he had a kite shield, whatever. I think the smaller shield lends itself better to shield bashing and such. It's a little smaller, but big enough that it can block most attacks. In hindsight, I should have made it a kite shield. As for his sword, he uses a falchion. Falchion? I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's a curved sword, basically. I'm not one for curved weapons. I'm more into the straight, stabby kind of sword, but I appreciate a character who uses swords and shields anyways. Another thing that I appreciate about this character is the fact that he's got a limp, and that he uses his kite shield, and once again, yes, I know it's a kite shield, not the circular shield you see in my picture. Kite shield, he sometimes uses it as a walking stick. Let's just consider the drawing I do of him is an alternate universe version of the actual profile picture. And that's another interesting thing that I really like about this profile. The author, whomever made it, included a section about alternate universe versions of him. There's one where instead of wandering the place looking for adventure or getting into adventure, he's a loyal knight in court. There's another one where he's a slave, a gladiator, and another one where he's a mysterious magical figure who is found asleep and then wakes up. Eventually. If I wasn't convinced of this character's versatility before, this is what cinches it for me. He can be used in so many situations. I freaking love it. It just makes me think that he's a mythological character, that the Hangman isn't just a title, he's actually a bit of folklore. Because of his wandering ways, each adventure he goes on could be their own self-contained, adventures. But here's the thing. He also has an overarching plot where he looks for someone called the Lord of Lances. That sounds awesome. Is that a huge-ass, kick-ass villain or something? I mean, just imagining what this Lord of Lances looks like is awesome in of itself. I mean, that name is sick. It's a band name. The Lord of Lances, playing at a cinema near you. Not cinema, band, whatever. You get my point. It's awesome. Now, as a D&D character or a tabletop roleplay character, amazing. Mysterious background. He's a fighter, defensive, done. Very simple, very straightforward. And while he does have his own quests to find the Lord of Lances, I don't think he'd overshadow anyone else. He's a good team player when need be. He can be his own solo act. He can be, part of anything. That's what makes this character so good. I can see him in just about any fantasy-based universe without having to change all that much. He just exists. He's that awesome. Some people might consider that as a generic thing, but I don't think it's that bad. Then we have LARP. Would this character work in LARP? Abso-freaking-lutely. Now, once again, backstory, amazing. We've already covered that in D&D. His behavior, his attitude, once again, perfect for RPGs in general. He can be a solo act, he can be a team player. Doesn't really matter. He can do it all. But the fact that he fights with a sword and shield and nothing particularly fantastical or special means that he's a perfect fit for any RPG. He could even be part of one that's low magic or no magic at all. Honestly, the most magical thing about him isn't just his endurance, but the fact that he seems to be possibly immortal. Like I said, he's like a folklore type figure, kind of like the boogeyman, except less scary or more scary. He's got a lot of scars. It could go either way, I suppose. And with a name like the Hanged Man, yeah, no, actually, no, I can totally see him as being the fantasy equivalent of the boogeyman in whatever universe he's in, except he fights bad guys. So, boogeyman for bad guys. Batman? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed my drawing of the Hanged Man. And if you want to read more about him, well, his profile is in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you some other day, everyone. Bye-bye.